Hello and welcome back to the Profit School podcast. Jeff Sauer here, joined by my business partner, Mercer. Hey, Mercer, how you doing?
I am doing well so far. No complaints. Looking forward to some cool AI and automation stuff.
Yeah. We're going to show you today how we automated an entire process that used to take me 30 minutes per post. And right now it's down to 5 minutes. We have ambitions to get it down even more than that, but basically saving me 25 minutes each time. And that means that instead of having to find 2.5 hours to do this process, I do it in about 30 minutes a week and it's done. And I don't have to worry about it ever again. And the funny thing is that in automating this thing, it didn't get worse, it got better. And it got better in ways I didn't even imagine. And so I want to walk you through what I used to be doing and then how we're doing it now. Mercer's going to chime in with some insights and maybe even some further tweaks. But this is the iteration and the evolution of us just getting better at things like social media, things that we knew we needed to do. We bit the bullet and did it, but now we want to do it more consistently. We want to make it so that it's something that just gets done over and over again. And so, and that's really our process. Is we start with something that we do manually. We almost always start with something manual. We get to the point where we do it manually to the point where it's annoying, or that we're like sick of it, or like, why am I doing this anymore? And then that's when we decide it's time to start thinking about automating it. It's time to start bringing in the rest of the team members in order to hand this thing over. And so that's really the only way you can ever get ahead in the game, is if you innovate something and then you hand it over, right? That part needs to happen, because those 2.5 hours, if you keep on building new things, it's 2.5 hours here, 2.5 hours there. Then your week is 40 hours of that, plus your meetings, and you basically
never everything else you should have gotten done already.
So
this is easy to go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. So like the way that I look at it right now is that every new initiative you have is a time commitment, right? It's an opportunity cost of something else you could do. The only way you can get that time back in the end, the only way you can get the result you're looking for, is to get more efficient with it. And so this is just a sign of how you get more efficient. And then it's using modern technology, specifically AI, specifically automation, and some tools that you may not be familiar with, but you're definitely going to be familiar with and be encouraged to do by the end of this one. So Let's go ahead and get into it. So here is the process that we go through. Okay. So I found this tool yesterday. It's called Phantom Buster. I saw somebody posting about it. I'm not even sure where. Basically right now, I don't know about you all, but I have a million tabs with every tool that I see. Some of them are AI tools. Most of them are AI tools. Some of them do things other than, this and that, right? But you hear about something and I'm like, okay, Phantom Buster. Somebody mentioned that. So I need to open it up. Maybe I need to learn about it. Maybe I should just let everybody else know about it, because I don't have time to pursue every single tool. But I end up with a lot of tabs open. So how do I archive this thing in a way where I know about it, my team knows about it, the internet knows about it, yet where if somebody wants to act on it, they get the information as fast as possible? Because the alternative is that tab graveyard, where you have a million tabs open and you never do anything with it. And then you lose them all when your computer crashes, or, something like that. So that I don't want to do that anymore. And I stopped doing that earlier this year, and basically taking every tool that I see and getting it off of my plate as fast as I can. And so here's how I did that. So what I would do is I would document it. And Mercer and I started this last year, where we documented every tool that we learned about inside of our ClickUp. Okay. So this is our tools tray. And you look at all these different tools here. Like, we found a lot, right? We found a lot of different tools that are in here.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. That's cool. At least it's archived. At least somebody can be like, hey, have we ever talked about Phantom Buster before? Does anybody have an opinion on it?
We can keep a conversation around it. We can, activate the accounts if somebody wants to try it or, learn about it. Absolutely.
Yep. So, and so all I do is we'll take Phantom Buster, we'll drop this into here, we'll create a task, and you put it in there, and then you put it in the description. Then you say, if it's tool of the day, you put that in there. If you have an image about it or anything about it, right? You put it in there. Passwords. Hey, this is in our last pass. This is in our password archive. So that's how we deal with tools currently.
And this is the manual process that you're talking about. Like, this is how we currently do it. We have the process in place. This is what you're demonstrating right now. Okay.
Yeah, this is how we did it until we automated it, basically. Yeah, this is the manual process. So the reason why we do it in ClickUp is this is our background system for everything. And it houses everything. And our whole team is on here. And it just keeps a record. It is our one source of truth of what's happened. We use it in a very specific way at Profit School, which maybe we'll do a video on that. Leave a comment if you want to see our way of doing it. But ultimately, this is just the kickoff point. Now, putting it in here internally it's not content though, right? It's content for us, but it's not really content in the way that we think of content. And what I mean by that is it's only like somebody has to actually, I have to activate this in order for somebody to even look at it, to know that Phantom Buster exists. So it's nice to put this in there, but we had to set it's like a graveyard. We never did anything with it. So eventually I was like, okay, why don't I just post this on LinkedIn and share the tools that I'm researching with everybody that's out there? And so the next thing I did is I started to post it on LinkedIn, right? And the way that I did that is I experimented with the format for a while, but I eventually arrived at this format for how I want to do this thing, okay? So tool of the day, tool name, why it's useful, standout features, the use case, emojis, to like a call to action, hashtags, and then just a reminder that they can get this with Profit School, okay? And then you can see on here, there's like keep it crisp, focused on. So this is ultimately my refinements after I ran this through.
This is a prompt, right?
Exactly. Yeah. This is ultimately the prompt that I use to get that going. I should have been clear about that. And this is my original version of the prompt, So
that's interesting. Okay. So you started doing this.
Yep.
And then you evolved it into the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I ping-ponged it because I wasn't getting the results that I was looking for. I was like, yeah, this isn't actually working here. So then I was like, I need to do something different.
Okay.
And ultimately, what you can do is you can take this prompt and put it into any GPT you want. I was using a certain copywriting bot that I use, but ultimately, you do that. So here's the prompt. So I just copied this in there, and then I was using limey.ai. Okay, so create a tool today post for this format should be like this, and then it spits this up. Tool today, limey.ai, automate content creation across platforms without juggling 10 tabs or a creative team. And then it's like ever sit down, so it not bad.
Yeah,
actually,
cool.
It's the intent of what we're looking for here,
right? Which is to make people aware that this is a thing, because it's especially in today's age, like there's just new tools coming out every 52 seconds.
Yep.
So it is easy to just not be aware of that.
Yeah, I hear about tools all the time, and not all of them are relevant for me, but they're relevant for the person that brought it up.
Right.
Like I'm in SEO communities, and they talk about this stuff. Like this is one of the SEO ones I'm pretty sure that I found. I'm in analytics communities, and then it's like, hey, here's the analytics AI stuff. And I'm in communities for entrepreneurship. And it's like, hey, this is stuff for local businesses. This is stuff for service businesses. This is stuff for whatever. I'm in productivity groups. These are the productivity ones. Here's how you do voice input. Every one of those things is something that somebody's like, this is my go-to tool for X.
And so you're thinking from a marketing perspective, specifically for Profit School, it's kind of like, okay, let's be that source. We can just put all that out there and be like, hey, here's a really good way to sort of make Profit School brand a little more aware, right? Get more impressions for that brand, but also provide something useful for different segments of that audience that we could attract.
Exactly. Because somebody recommended it to me. And I want to make it clear, I'm not recommending all these tools firsthand, because how could I try them all? Yeah. But if I hear a recommendation, it's like, why don't I just, instead of making that something where I'm going to, this is just an explanation of the philosophy that we have behind AI versus how we used to have it. It used to be that the value that Mercer and I had was that we would hear about something, we would try it out, we would create it, we'd get a result, then we would share it with other people. Like, hey, this has all been hand vetted by us and tested by us, and this is our recommendation. There's no time for that. Unfortunately, there's no time to give it a firm recommendation for every tool. There are the things that we recommend. Like we recommend N8N. We recommend these other, there's things that we firmly
ClickUp
recommend.
As an example is perfect of that. It's like, hey, we're really into ClickUp, so we can show you nuances of how to use this tool. There are certain tools that we do use that we go a little more deeper dive on. But there's a lot of tools that just wouldn't be relevant. Like to your point, not relevant for us, relevant for some of the students though.
Yeah.
Because they're just in a different market. So, hey, just make you aware of this. You check it out. But at least we've made them aware, and now we're the authority that they can come to and say, oh, okay, you guys, I'm going to stay on the newsletter because you make me aware of things.
Yeah, because what they think of us as the guys who are experimenting with AI. They're learning new things. Like, hey, if I need to hit the bell on Jeff's LinkedIn because every time he does it, it's relevant. I learned a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah.
This is actually how I started the Jeffalytics newsletter back in the day, like 2015, 2014. That's all I did is I just put a tool. And people are like, I love your tools. I look forward to that. Like I look forward to the tool thing all the time. And
that's cool.
That's where the market was back then, was tools, right? For the measurement area. That's where the AI market is right now. It will mature. In 2 years, I might not be doing a tool of the day post, right? But maybe I will be. But ultimately, like right now, tools are the fire hose we're drinking from, because it's an easy way to look at it, this for that, right? And that's where a lot of the investment's going. There's all kinds of reasons why I'm doing tools right now. It's strategic, but it's also taking what I was already doing and turning it into content. And this is the highest recommendation that I have for anybody. If you could take away anything from this particular one, is take what you're already talking about and turn it into content and make it as easy on yourself as possible. So I made it easy on myself by saying, okay, I create a tray, I put this prompt into the thing, I get this thing, and then I start posting, right? That's pretty much what I had to do. And the prompt, it gives me consistency because I keep on iterating on this thing. Mm-hmm. This is V2, right? Or V3, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it also doing this, logging this also makes it easy for other people to help you automate if you're not the automation person yourself, which will come.
So at this point, all the manual process, but that is what is so important about this, because you didn't just instantly use the original version and then automate that, because you wanted to make sure you really nailed this process down. Yep. So you iterate to the point where you get nice, consistent results that you like.
Yep, exactly. Okay. And then I was like, okay, so then I was like, well, this needs a visual. So if I'm putting this on LinkedIn, I need a visual there, because I read some posts that you get 20% more impressions if you have an image. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, I'll just take a screenshot of the tool. I'll go to limey.ai and take a screenshot. I was like, that's pretty, and it worked just fine. Yeah. But then what ended up happening was the people, even like the founders of the tool, were like, oh, we changed our homepage, or hey, our value proposition is different. So I didn't want to have a snapshot of where they were that day. I wanted to create something that felt more like, I wanted it to be branded Profit School, because we're doing the work there, and we're sharing it. So I started creating these posts. So it's like, okay, tool today, and then the name of the tool, and then sort of like an image of that. And this is I can't even tell you how long this prompt went, because it was really hard to get this thing going. But basically,
and that's just so you can get the consistency in the image, so they're not radically different all the time.
So what I found is, in order to get it to be consistent, I had to upload the image of the homepage, mm-hmm. and then it started to get it to work. So I had to go and do a full screen grab of this thing. Then I uploaded it with the chat window, and then it would give me the thing. And then eventually it stopped working. It just started getting all crazy. Like, hey, why is Poppy and Happy AI the same thing? Like, it just had this weird memory in there. Mm-hmm. So it's like, do I have to start the chat over? And then I started the chat over, and it looked totally different. Yeah. But you can see all these iterations like this. I use this for a while, and each one of these things takes 5 minutes to generate roughly. And that 5 minutes, you can't really do anything else. And if it's wrong, it's 5 more minutes. And this is where it takes 30 minutes, right? It's like, this is generated. You're
thinking a simple little image, and an hour later, you're like, oh my God. Yeah.
Creating the tray, going to ClickUp and opening that up is 5 minutes or 2 minutes, right? This is 3 minutes. This is 3 minutes. This is 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending. Then I'm like, okay, then I have the image. And what I want to do is I want to post this onto Meta, for example. I want to post it onto Twitter. I want to post it onto inside of our community. You can see I scheduled one using this method for limey.ai. Mm-hmm. And I want to post it onto our LinkedIn. Okay, so I do a LinkedIn post right there. Mm-hmm. And that's, so it adds up. That's where it takes 30 minutes, because if you're doing one at a time, you have to get into the mode. AI can be fickle. It may or may not work. Even if you're really good at prompting, it's just there. So that's where I created this tab group. I don't know if anybody knows this, but you can now do tab groups inside of Chrome. And I had to do that. So I have a tool post group, and then I close that out when I'm not doing it. But then I open this up. I just go through those steps. And that might shave 5 minutes off of this thing, but it's like, it still takes a while. Now, what ended up happening was we're working internally on automations, and I was talking to one of our team members, and she's like, I can automate that. And I was like, okay, do talk. She's like, all I need you to do is create a video of your process, which is pretty much this video right here,
Yeah, we just did,
of what we're doing. And I'll make it happen. And so I'm going to show you the end result, and then I'm going to show you how it works, right? So the end result is, or actually, I mean, here's how it is. So she said, okay, so you're telling me that you do a ClickUp tray. Okay, cool. And then Slack is more, let's not worry about Slack yet, but I'll tell you all about that in a second. And it's like, okay, let's gather content about the tool. This uses Firecrawl, I believe, to crawl this thing. And it's like just it's an app. It'll download everything about the tool, the text, the image, everything. Then it uses my prompt right here. And she said it was so easy, Jeff, because you already had the prompts defined.
Because you had already worked out the process, right?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, never automate without a process.
Yep. So we use the same model. We use Claude, which is what how I use to generate these things. And it generates the post text. Then it actually uses OpenAI to generate the image, because it's currently the best image generator for me, for my needs. And it creates the image prompt, not even the image. Okay. Then it creates the image, the tool of the day image. Then it converts that image from it adds like the extension on there. It puts it into our Google Drive. So I have it handy. It's just sitting right there for me. It puts it into a Google Sheet to say that it's done. And then it tells me in ClickUp that it can even assign the tray to me in ClickUp to say, hey, Jeff, go check this thing out.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool, right? So basically this is everything. Now, what it doesn't do right now is it doesn't do the Meta post, the Twitter post, or the internal post and the LinkedIn post, which we're working on. That'll be ready probably by the time this video goes live. But
that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you still need human in the loop.
100%.
That's the crazy part about automations. People automating stuff and not watching it. And this is what's causing all this AI slop that's happening.
Yep, exactly. So this does all the automation. Now how easy is it? Okay, so here's all I have to do. So I go into our Slack, and forgive me for showing you the Slack, but I'm going to take Phantom Buster, and I just type in here /tool, and that's just something you see a tool. It's an N8N command.
This is a custom automation that we set up. Yep.
And it says we received your tool today. We're processing it. And then I go into the spreadsheet. Remember I mentioned Google Sheets, and it's 8:55 a.m. my time here. We'll keep track of that, and we'll see how long it takes to get in there, but it doesn't take very long. So Limey is the last one that I did, and I posted that. So let's do HeyGen, for example. This is, so we're just going tool, and then we're putting it in there, and then we're getting the result that we're looking for. So let's just say HeyGen. That's one that we use for videos. Here's the image for it. HeyGen, AI avatars and multilingual video. Bam. And this is so consistent. It works every time. It hasn't gotten text wrong or anything.
Doesn't spell it wrong or anything like that.
Yeah, not yet.
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
And it's
always something to change. Most current truth.
Yep. Yeah. So let's just say that I want to do a post on HeyGen. Why not? So I have, so what ends up happening is all these things go into an image folder, and I can just take those images and I can upload it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ready and offline here. So we're going to do HeyGen is what we're going to, actually, I don't have an image for HeyGen. Let's do,
and when you say you don't have an image for HeyGen, you're not talking about this one that we're looking at?
It's I'm not seeing it inside of the, oh, I see. It says AI video. Okay, I found it now. It's funny. It took the title tag. So it says AI video generator #1 on G2's top 100 list. Do you see that on the?
I just see the tool of the day image right now that you're sharing.
I'll hover over it and you can see. So it says
AI gotcha.
Video generator.
Yeah,
it just took the title tag and made that the image. So that's why I couldn't see HeyGen. So I just updated that.
Cool.
So it's there. So I want to post about HeyGen. I want to make that my tool of the day, and I want to do it today since I'm falling a little bit behind on this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and create a post. And this is Meta Business Suite, so I'm doing it for the Jeff Sauer one. And then I can upload it, and then I hope that you can't see that, but if you can, it's fine. So I'm going to go into HeyGen, and I uploaded this image. Okay. Then all I got to do is I got to take the text here, drop that in there. So this is all just typing.
It's just copying and pasting.
Yeah, just copying and pasting, and it's native. I can schedule it. We haven't got, it's been 3 minutes. We haven't quite gotten our thing yet, but we expect it to be 5 to 10 minutes. So just so you know, that's the time.
But this is the beauty of this, is it's just working in the background now.
Yeah.
Because of that one little
thing.
And
I do it when I see the tool now. I don't do it when I need to post. I do it when I see the tool. So I'm just dropping like 10 links in a row.
That's cool.
And then
you could schedule these, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. So this is all the light editing I do on this one, because it's just locked in. And so there you go. So then I schedule these ones, and then I actually look for the active times, and they do that thing. So if there's something, today at 5 p.m., today at 10 a.m. So I save that, I hit schedule, and this will go live on my Facebook.
That's awesome.
And I do read these things, don't get me wrong, but there's not a ton of reading you need to do.
You're just sort of trust but verifying that everything makes sense. It's
all in your prompts. Like, this is the 50th. This is the 100 tool a day post that I've done roughly.
Yeah, right? This is a pretty cooked system. It seems like you've got.
It's pretty cooked, right? Yep. So that's the whole point of it. So this is scheduling it. So we'll see if that hangs up. Then while I'm doing that one, while I'm waiting for one social network, I just go into Twitter and do the next one, right? So do HeyGen, and then I just drop this in there. Now this one has character limits, so I just do the first part. I see if I can tag them, because that'll give us some love, So HeyGen right there, and then I just hit schedule and find the date that I want to put it out there. And it's out. I don't want it to be in the morning. I usually, so I put more thought into it than this, but not that much more thought into it. Yeah. Because this is a proven thing. This is a fixture in what we do.
This is the power of a process.
Yeah, exactly. This is one's based on process. That I thought so much about this the first 75 times. Eventually you don't need to think as hard, because it just does it, right? So that's what I want to say, is that just because I'm going through it fast doesn't mean that I'm not being thoughtful about this thing. It's that I've already had the time to think about it, and I've already had the time to refine it. I've already gone through the prompts, and that's what made this thing work. And then I do a little bit different for each of the things. Like for our community, I just end at the comment. I don't need to do like for more insights, follow Profit School because they're already on Profit School, you know?
Yep.
I drop it in my community. I drop the image in there. Oops, wrong thing. And it's the same image. And that's cool because it just goes across different mediums and it displays differently.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in AI tools and then I just schedule it. So for whenever I want to go. So right now I'm actually, I'm still scheduling it for this morning. Schedule post. There you go.
Nice.
Tool today. Hey, Jen. It's right in there. And then
so we've got 1, 2, 3 things scheduled already. This is like, 5 minutes have gone by since we even typed in the other one. That's
exactly. Yeah. So it's been exactly 5 minutes and we're still almost there with the tool. Like it'll be there very soon. But that's the thing is like, again, you're not doing a lot of this in real time. You find the tool during your day-to-day life. And then you write the social post during your batch, during your time. And so this is where it's like for 5 minutes, I can do an entire week of content based on last week's tools
like
I found.
You could do that from mobile. Like if you're at a meeting and somebody said, oh, here's a cool, because a lot of, we're in mastermind groups, right? That are like, oh, here are the latest tools. You're like, I'm just going /tool.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think about that, but I totally like, I have all these tabs open on my phone that I usually have to open up on my desktop and then move them over and reorganize them. They're all like my personal Gmail and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that anymore at all.
Wow.
I love that. I never even thought about that, but that's exactly like, see, this is why I love Mercer is always enhancing ideas. Like, why don't you just do it on mobile? Yes. Why don't I just do it on mobile? I never even thought about it. Right. So, hey, Jen, now LinkedIn has the fewest formatting options, you can't really do much. And then I always at myself. I always at hey, Jen. And I at our company just so people can go
at the tool company wherever you can.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. I've seen that on LinkedIn where they will respond back. And
a decent amount of my replies are the ats.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like I just got a reply from the one that we just did, the Limey AI. They just replied me. They just added me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I post and I can schedule this one. Now the reason why I do this in these tools versus using like Hootsuite or something like that is because I've heard that if you do it native, they don't. Like anything through an API, they start to they can like an app, they can start to do certain things,
Mm-hmm.
But here's an example of Limey. Just 10 people reacted to this post. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
a lot of them will reshare it, stuff like that. Limey replied, "Thank you for the shout out." So
you're getting comments. You're not just getting like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like I've seen a lot of that stuff too, where it doesn't really get a lot, but this one actually does pretty decent. Yeah.
Nice. I'm not going to go out there and say that all these things are amazing, but it's like, but once these other people comment on it, it starts to get in there. Now, if I went further and I said, hey, AI, tell me who works at Limey. And I said,
seriously, well, look at like you got the co-founder of Limey, right there, right? That Aviv, co-founder and CEO of Limey. So it's like, you've got, I'm thinking already like, yes, for Profit School, this makes sense because we're trying to attract a Profit School audience and help people with the tools and automations and AI first and all that. But what if I was a company that was trying to get leads and I wanted to be able to like, oh, I really like this. I've got a possible connection with Aviv here and I could DM him and be like, oh, hey, I just wanted to, because maybe I'm trying to get a lead. Maybe I want him to be a lead. Like you can automate stuff to do that. That's pretty cool.
Well, so like we like, if they want us to create content for them, because we are content creators, we could absolutely do that. This, funny thing is, this is how I've formed almost all my relationships, Mercer, in the analytics industry, is that I would just tweet tools and I'd tweet things like I was just a citizen of the world. Like I was like, hey, I'm doing this stuff anyway. Why don't I give them credit for doing this thing? Like I heard about their tool. Somebody mentioned it. Why don't we put it out there? Yeah. And then the more you do, the more you nest it. You reply to these things. You become connections with them.
Yep.
Then they're going to see your next thing. Yep. And your next thing and your next thing. And it works so well to get to that point. Now I don't think everybody should just take this thing as like, oh, I should just share tools as well. Like that's like, I think there's other things you can do, articles, shouting out your clients. There's all kinds of different other ways you can do this, really right? Good one. Yeah. Ultimately, this is just one process, but there's so many other ways. And then with it, maybe you can even have the articles that you're sharing can be fed to you. Like that's another step. I actually have to go curate these things. Yep. That's, you could have somebody else do the curation for you. During our Battle of the Bots workshop, we built a curation bot for them. Mm-hmm. Remember that? Like that was pretty, and I built it in 3 minutes. Yeah. Now, and of course, like I'll say that these things, they need refinement. So like, don't just look at this thing as saying you should do a tool a day post because it will just add noise to the marketplace. But you should definitely figure out a way that you want to play where you can take what you're doing every day and turn it into content. That's the point here.
Know that.
Okay. So we're a little bit slow on this one right now. It seems
try
like
try refreshing that just to see if
yeah.
if it's there. Sometimes they're there and it just hasn't updated in the sheets maybe.
And you can see how many of these things we have in here. Wow. It's crazy. Yep. So we're still
It's
waiting on it. It's been 9 minutes, 10 minutes, but that's not, that's all good. Like I expected some of that. It always goes slower when you're doing this thing live. We can go through our steps and see if it failed and stuff like that as well. Ultimately, there's things we can do to check this out and to see if there's any problems with it or anything along the way.
Now this did create a if we go back into Slack, it says something about the ClickUp tray being created.
Let's go look at the tray.
So in Slack, it already dropped a link and said, "Here's the ClickUp tray we just created." So there's the ClickUp tray. So it's got that. Yeah.
So it is working.
Yep.
It's it's just working. Like AIs can be slow.
Yep.
So it could be that it's any one of these steps. Now we can go in here and we can actually look at the executions of it, and we can so there's an error.
So it's errored out. Okay.
So it errored out at some point. And then this is where we work together to fix it. So Manisha from our team will find that error and then fix it out. So she'll go and
well, you might be able to just rerun it.
Yep. So we're just going to retry this thing right now.
Nope, something's off. Yeah, we'll have to figure this one out. And this is why, honestly, like I love stuff like this more than anything when we do things live.
Problem with no Google Sheets. Column names were updated after the node setup. Oh, the column names changed. I see. So we did change.
Somebody changed the format of the sheet.
And Manisha's working on that right now. I know that, right? So it's like she was looking for a post date. So she added some new stuff in here.
Yeah.
And that's post posted date. She just added that in there, and it used to say post date is what it's expecting. It can be as simple as that.
Gotcha. So if we just flip back to post date.
Yeah, let's just see if post date will fix it.
And then rerun.
Yeah. And this is like, I'm not an expert in N8N. Just so that everybody knows. I will be,
we'll let Manisha handle it.
But
I love this stuff because this is how it works in the real world. I'm so tired of seeing people like N8N simple. Here you go. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yes, shit's going to break sometimes and it's okay. You just go like, all right, no big deal. We're just going to take it, we'll take it offline. We're not going to debug it here, but it's like you take it offline. You'd be like, okay, it's always something simple. It's always user error. It's always a change of something because this stuff changes all the time. It is likely to break, but that's why human in the loop. Right. And this is why this process is so cooked, because if this was not a cooked process and you would automate it, you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't even know.
Yeah. You would be like, I'm not sure if it's this piece or that piece, but this is like, okay, all this stuff worked. We know it's this. It's just this little spreadsheet connection. This is probably because she's in there updating stuff at the moment, which is fine.
And we're making enhancements. We're making
and we're making it better.
Date it posted. Like we wanted to make sure we had that date in there, right? So other stuff like we're adding the URL in there properly. Is she LinkedIn URL? That's like where it got posted to. So she had that one too.
Yeah,
so she's just working on it right now. She didn't know that I was doing a video on this.
Yeah, right? Exactly. We didn't
but the cool thing is that she gets informed. We actually use Slack to inform us, and then she'll know that error happened, and she'll just go fix it because she knows. Right. And then the other thing is, look at this. When it does succeed, 1 minute 23 seconds creating the thing that normally takes me 30 minutes.
Yeah,
1 minute 17 seconds.
And they're all about 1.5 minutes. Yeah,
yeah. So I was
within
easily
1.5.
I just want to be clear about that. Is like, I budgeted 5 minutes, but we actually failed way faster than that. We failed towards the end of it. So that's why it took a while. And that's why you have to be like with these things, you have to have some level of source control or some level of like desire to go in and iterate on this thing. Yep. This isn't for everybody. Not everybody needs this level of complexity. You can just stick in this world where you just use a prompt and get there. And actually that like with a bot and with the technology that's out there, you can cut a 30-minute thing down into 10. If you want to keep, and then it's like, how much do you want to keep on cutting down? Is there a law of diminishing returns? Mm-hmm. Like the 80-20 is actually is what I already was doing versus typing it manually using AI. That's AI, just using AI at all is the 80-20. The 90-10 is to use it to turn it into a bot or a gem or something that's reusable. Mm-hmm. And then the 99-1 is this. This is where you actually do the automations, you create everything in place, and you really make it happen.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, we've been using N8N a lot. We have a lot of things dropped in place. Like I can get a transcription.
Did this already go to Google Drive part? Because that image might be there. I'd be scared what that image looks like if it did. Like did it get through the updating the image?
Yeah. So let me look at our Google Drive and then.
Yeah, I'd be curious just to see if it made it that far, just so I can see that image stuff. Because then it's only just needing what it missed was at the spreadsheet because we're adjusting that spreadsheet and evidently real time right now, but it's like, oh,
Yeah,
there you
so it
go.
created
Cool.
Phantom Buster. It created the text. It's just that it can't put it into the sheet because the columns don't match.
Yeah. But right now, even if for whatever reason, let's say this broke because somebody else is already working on it right now, which is fine. And it's just happy accident. But let's say that this actually broke in a way that, somebody from the team that knows how to do it is not around to fix it, right? This is like worst case scenario. You still have all the parts and pieces you need.
Yeah.
If you had to get this done, you could be like, cool, I got all this stuff. And you can still just manually post it and put stuff because you have your original prompt. You have the image done, right? You have the prompts for the image if you need to. You can just default back to that other process if you had to. Yeah. And that process was like 10 minutes maybe, Yep. I mean, at this point, it's less than that because the image is already done.
And the other thing great to emphasize is when you're batching this stuff, I can do this thing throughout the week, and then every error is known, and you just go rerun it whenever this thing gets fixed, and then it's just fixed.
And the other thing that I would ultimately add to stuff like this, and again, this is early, right? So this is not like you would never start with this, but knowing that this stuff can happen now is where you run some other check to the spreadsheets to make sure they are still what is expected.
Yeah.
So that if somebody does change something that they think is an enhancement in some way, there's some other automation that's going, oh, hey, I'm just running a daily check, just letting you know columns have changed. It's likely to affect this other automation, and then you could have that self-reporting, be a little more proactive. Like, oh, hey, by the way, you just changed this and it's not going to work. Or it could notify people, right? To say, hey, I'm working on this, the old web pages when it used to be like under construction, back in the day, it's like, oh, hey, this automation is under construction. Don't use it for the next 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
We could put notifications on to help with this because that's going to happen a lot as automations sort of take over a lot of the basic tasks that humans are doing right now, especially process stuff like this.
Yeah,
that is super cool. And then the ClickUp, can you show Limey? Just to kind of, because that was the one I think you had done yesterday.
Yeah.
Just to show like, okay, here's what it would look like when it's in there. So you've got the tool of the day. There's the description. So you have everything in there if you needed it, which is great because it's like, hey, what did we post? Oh, that's what we posted.
Yep. And then that's the image. Cool.
Yeah.
And
then
it's
everything, and all of that was that's the automation
and then
that does that.
Spreadsheet where it is. It's just like,
and then there's a spreadsheet. That's cool.
This thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we can put,
that.
Eventually we'll put filters in there like, hey, this has already been published so that it's not like taking up too much space, or we can do these things in a certain order. But like, I cleared out 25 tabs just with, in like 7 minutes, just pushing /tool and then putting it in there.
Now I have a marketing question for you.
Sure.
Why, when it says to get these tools in your inbox, be sure to subscribe to a newsletter and Profit School, but how would they do that? Like, why not link that? Is that because you don't want to take them off platform, or how do you
so I do link it in here to our page, and then on our page it's like link in description. So that's the idea.
Gotcha.
They would go here and then they would see the URL, which probably I'm not doing a very good job at here. That's how.
Okay, that makes sense. So I get that. Okay, so then
they go to Profit School and then they can go to our homepage, and that would be how they do it. But yes, if you drop a link in there, there's some evidence that they just bury you because they don't
give it the organic love it would normally get. Yeah. And I do like kind of linking. I wonder how far they follow that. That's an interesting pattern of like if you can link it to something inside the platform so that your post is keeping people inside the platform and that's the signal they get, but they don't follow the rest of that. That'd be kind of interesting.
Well, I think that there's an element of them. I don't want to have my LinkedIn up because you can't even control what's on there. But there's an element of just you have when you first post it, it can't have any links because then they suppress the visibility altogether. But then if people will put in links later, so
put them as a comment or something like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so that's why people do that type of stuff. But then they started to say if there's a link in the comment right away, we'll still suppress it. So what I'm doing right now, Mercer, is just letting it out there, letting it get the comments, the likes. This one actually did pretty well. So then this is where I might put effort in behind it. I might update it to have a link now and put their link in there. I might boost this post.
Yeah,
why wouldn't I? Right? So. There's all kinds of different things you can do, but it's actually, this one's done pretty well. This is surprisingly, this one just went out.
Well, also because this is Limey, they're all Limey's team, which is so smart, right? Because they're helping boost this post by them all coming in, right, and seeing it. And there's also, and they're not all Limey. I mean, there's some people in there that are not Limey, but but it's a lot of the Limey team. But that was smart, right, to do that. Which is just again, if you're getting mentioned on social media, which is not my forte. This is why I
Well,
love
again,
you
I
doing
mean, you
all
could
this
probably
stuff.
have them tell you who works at Lime. Like we could probably proactively find these people and follow them and
Yeah.
everything too. And there's so
Yeah.
many things you can do.
Yeah.
Some of it's manual, some of it's there. But like think about it this way: would you rather spend 30 minutes writing the post or 30 minutes getting it distributed?
Right. Right. 30 minutes connecting with people about the
Yeah,
post. Yeah.
yeah. I'd rather
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
the comments. I'd rather talk to people
That's
on
so
that type of
smart.
stuff.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
So we're almost ready to do Phantom Buster. We have an image for it, as you can see, or we have. It's working. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect, but that's not the
Yep.
point. Like
Yeah.
we're getting there. We'll fix it, and I can't emphasize enough is that I'm doing content now for 4 weeks from now through this tool. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't work right now.
You're already, this isn't the one you're trying to get for today.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to really show. Just show how far this stuff has come and how easy it is to automate and string things together. But I got to emphasize that it's not AI and it's not automation. It's the combination of these things that really makes this happen. It's an idea that you work over and over and over again until you like it, until you get what you need. Which
So it's a process.
Yeah, a process, exactly. Yeah. And you do that process almost to the point where you're like, it's so easy now that why am I doing this anymore?
Yeah.
Then you start getting into the automation process, which the automation process is what parts don't I need to be doing anymore and what parts can be done. AI is the ultimate offloader. It used to be that if you were a writer, it would be really hard to find somebody that can write as well as you that you can offload to. But I could never write as well as AI can write right now with my formula.
Mm-hmm.
I have to create the formula, generally speaking, or at least approve the formula. But once the formula is there, AI is a workhorse that can do way better than me, way faster than me, and it's just so much better. But it's still like people are like, well, then it's not yours anymore. Well, I did the work of finding the tool. Yeah. I did the work of coming up with the format. I did all that stuff. I
created the process. It's 100%.
Yeah. It's all me. And so this is not written by AI. Yeah. AI is like the same thing as if I hired a VA. AI is my VA, except for instead of costing you $500 a month or $1,000 a month and having to try to find stuff to do and to do meetings with them and opportunity cost, it's literally a free tool, N8N, that you can use, or you can get it for $8 a month.
Yeah, it's super low cost. Yeah,
that's just working and it's working for you. So it's like, yeah, I don't need to distract a VA with doing that type of stuff. I don't need to hire a social specialist necessarily. It's working as I want to do it, and I'm still a little bit involved, but I'd be involved if I was. I'd be way more involved if I was telling somebody to do this. I've never been able to just hire somebody and to reduce my time, because the time that you spend reduced doing the work ends up being the time you're doing management. Now we're saying the time you reduce from doing the work ends up being the time you spend with distribution, ends up time with forming connections, ends up doing the things that are really high value activities for yourself.
Yeah.
Who knows? These could be tools that sponsor us. They could, if we did an AI summit, they might sponsor it. We have a reason to reach out to them. Hey, remember when we talked about you? Hey, do you want to help? Do you want to throw some money in to help promote this thing? We'll boost this post. You can boost our post. Like, we're working together. You want to sponsor something? Do you want to do content together? Do you want to do a course? Because they probably can't do a course on their own, but we can. And so there's a lot of strategy behind this thing. And the first thing is like getting the connection, getting the thing out there and getting it going. That's really what the phase we're in right now with AI, I truly believe. And that's where we're doing. And that's all our expectations are, which is great. It's freeing to know that we're just doing the first step. And then as we get more sophisticated, we can do the second step, third step, fourth step. But those don't have to be exclusive. You can stop there or you can keep on going. But you're never going to be able to keep on going if it's always 2.5 hours a week doing something that you never get off of your plate.
Yeah, I dig that. And I especially like the connection marketing, because it is, you can see here how AI, this automation, this AI first mentality, right? Yep. Look at the process, everything else you're doing. It's freeing up your time to actually focus on revenue stuff, not just, I'm getting content out. And it took me 3 hours of building that. So nicely done, man. Yeah. Good job. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, man, no problem. I really enjoyed this one. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this too. This is really fun to show you the fruits of our labors. We've been doing this stuff behind the scenes for years now. And Mercer told me about N8N well over a year ago. And he's like, we got to be using this more and more. But to be using it more and more and to actually get these results, it's really cool. So if you've been hearing about it, thinking about it, don't just like let it sit there. Try to do something. I wouldn't even get into N8N yet, though. I would try to take a process that you do enough times where you get sick of it. Then we can automate. That's what you're going to be doing inside of Profit School, inside of Profit School Pro. We're going to be helping you do that. We're going to get more advanced with the things that we're sharing, from bots all the way to AI agents. It's all going to be within there. We're going to give you our templates. We're going to give you all these different things. Not everything's ready yet, but maybe by the time you're watching this, it will be ready. But that's why we want you to go and check out Profit School. This is the direction we're heading, is to automate the things you don't want to be doing anymore without having to hire somebody to do it. And so let's get that in place. Let's use these tools to our advantage, and let's get you in your strategic direction that you want to be in too. And take what you're doing every day anyway, turn it into your marketing, turn it into your product, turn it into your fun, your R&D, all that good stuff. So thanks for listening to this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Take care.